We are in Karatina, Kenya, at my parents' house. I really wanted you to get a sense of where I came from. You know, In Touch happened to be in Kenya this time around, and to have a chance of In Touch to see where I grew up and to see the impact of what In Touch does. You know, I get to serve at In Touch, and part of what I do, you know, floats into where we're sitting right now. I'm just awed that we're sitting right here right now. You know, Kenya is about half the size of, I guess, Texas. Is much, much smaller, 33 million people. So you can imagine this country doesn't even have the infrastructure for every kid to go to school. And what happens is a lot of kids are not able to go to school, you know, because, you know, it's only the few. So my dad, in about the early 60s, just got a vision and a passion to say, you know, all kids need some form of education. For that passion, him and my mom started a school. For the first time, I think 2 or 3 years ago, the school system put a computer class as a basic standard. A lot of these kids have never even touched a computer, you know, in their life. We were sitting around in the IT room saying, you know, what can we do, and talking with Brad. And we had a chance to get some computers to come all this way to make an impact. And so we're thousands of miles away, and some kid will get to use a computer, and some teacher will get to learn how to use a computer and teach God knows how many kids going forward.
Offering computer to these girls, it's like we are also impacting on their future, because when they go to join the career, they'll be prepared and they'll be competitive.
So this is beyond imaginable. This is a gift times 20 million. And to see somebody's life can be changed because of a used computer, it's a blessing. And I think people are so grateful, as you've seen. I mean, the level of thankfulness is beyond, you know, thankful.
It is our desire to go overseas every year and visit places where we broadcast In Touch. And this year, by God's grace, we were able to go to a Maasai village outside of Nairobi, Kenya, and talk to the people that we minister to there. We talked to a lady who said that Dr. Stanley has impacted her life, and in fact, she feels like she gets more out of the broadcast than she does going to her local church, which is just right in this little village.
Ene smell na manya ewe ne jenkere yan naro ninga na kipindi naro ningo tola rimpogira ile oiterwaki na tareto kabisa ore tiatu enkishui ai esaidia yiok ena kipindi oleng nekigira aponyaki ainini neeku ekinyor tene endelea ena kipindi nikinyor teneponu iltung'anak aadol yiok oitobira ina kipindi.
Sometimes we forget that there are places away from Atlanta, Georgia that need the gospel. But through radio, they are able to get the in-depth teaching of Dr. Stanley. The discipleship ministry of Dr. Stanley reaches people even here in a Maasai village in Kenya. And this has made all the difference in their lives.
From an In Touch standpoint, the coolest thing has been that I don't really have to interview people. All I have to do is stand there and ask them to speak, and they overflow with appreciation and with thankfulness and gratitude.
You know, I had never, there previous, I did not have Bible teachings. But when I learned there is importance in learning or in getting the teachings in the Bible, that's when I started taking the notes that are taught by Dr. Charles Turner. Then I come, then I interpret them like I am the one who is speaking it. So I teach the church about the will of God, like recently, he was talking about the will of God, how we can rely on God, grow in Christ. Oh, that I get it. Then I started teaching the church, and I have seen impact in them because they are relying on God, and they are still growing well in Christ.
We gave messengers to a pastor today, and he asked me on the bus once we left, he said, is it allowed that the pastors go home and preach these messages? And I was like, absolutely, that's the reason. That's the reason why we give you these messengers, so that you can learn more about the Bible and in turn teach your church.
In Uganda, the biggest challenge for the pastor is getting trained. Most of the pastors don't know even how to read. They don't have scriptures in their lives to share. You find them preaching the same messages all over and over again. So a church begins, like our church here, and then you feel an urge to start a church some other village. You go preach there, open up a church, and you get one of the members in this church to stand there as a pastor. After some months, you get one of the people from the village to remain in that church as the pastor. No training whatsoever.
And so the messenger is really, I've seen how important it is. That's been the coolest thing.
We are at the PIFA All Gospel Church here, and where the medical clinic is, and behind me you see lots and lots and lots of people waiting to get care. We have a medical clinic, a dental clinic, and an eye clinic here. And I think as of yesterday they saw all total maybe 2,000 people. So doing a lot of good here, which is exciting, and I'm just really thankful to be here.